the lead lag menu. Your first screen is going to be your status screen. If you are set up for a lead lag system, then you would see your boiler 1, 2, 3, all the way up until 9. And you just see a nice little snapshot of everything right there, whether it be modulation rate, if they have a call for heat, any of that type of stuff will be on this screen. Your universal data, this is where you're going to set where your boiler specifically is getting information, whether it be local, BMS, or your boiler network. If you're talking and you have a standalone boiler, most of these will be in that local setting. If you're on a lead lag system where you're having multiple boilers talk to each other, we'll be looking at that boiler network. If you have a BMS system that's going to be controlling your lead lag, then it'll be that BMS network. You'll see such things as set point, outdoor air, system supply, system return, BMS enable, and domestic hot water on here. You can set some of these to off if they are not enabled in the system. Our configuration, at the top you'll see your local Ethernet IP address, your mode, whether standalone or lead lag. If you put it into lead lag, you'll see the staging parameters pop up at the bottom of the screen. You'll see at the top will be rotation method. There's 3 different methods. There's optimize, which looks at run hours and cycle number and picks a lead boiler based off of the one that has the least, kind of that ratio between those, and then that will be assigned next time that they rotate. Or you can do run hours. The one with the least will become the lead when time of rotation happens, or cycle number, same thing. Once the rotation method happens, the lead boiler will then go to the one with the least cycles. Your number of boilers is how many are going to be on the lead lag system. If you're standalone, you shouldn't even see the screen, but you can have 2 all the way up until 9 on the boiler side. You can set it just by clicking on it and then changing that number. Your lead start is going to be how many degrees below set point do you want the next lag stage to come on. My lead start and stop. So for the lead start, when it's looking at the system, this is how far below set point that my first boiler, my lead boiler, is actually going to cycle on. So if I have a set point of 120 and my lead start is set at 5 degrees Fahrenheit, then at 115, my first lead boiler will come on. My lead stop is the opposite of that. So this is how far above set point do we want the lead boiler to cycle off. For this example, we have 10 degrees Fahrenheit in there, and that means once I get up to 130, my lead boiler is going to cycle off. Parallel modulation delay is set when you want the boilers to all ramp up to that high firing point, and you want that delay in there so they don't ramp down to that low fire position before the second boiler actually comes on. So it just makes sure that all the boilers will go up to that high firing rate. Your lag stage start delay, this is typically used when you have an inconsistent system and you don't want a boiler to cycle on. You can set this inside here. So say I have a normal boiler and an inconsistent load where I'm going to get a spike in temperature or drop in temperature, and I want it to take 5 minutes before it actually brings on the lag, because if I don't, it will bring on that second boiler, short cycling it once we actually get up above set point and then shutting it back down. We want to avoid that. That is when we would want to set that lag stage start delay. The opposite will go for the lag stage stop delay. So if you have an inconsistent system where you will have a spike in temperature, this is when you would set it. So if I have a boiler that's operating normally and my lead lag system is going, I have a spike in that temperature, and technically that would call for my lag stage to drop off and cycle off. We would put in a stop delay to be able to negate that, so we wouldn't have that short cycling where it then come right back on, because our system goes back into that modulation zone and it'll call for that lag stage again. Our max boilers to run, you can set this. Say you have 4 boilers on a system and you only want 3 running at a time. At any given point, you can limit the max number of boilers to run to that 3, and only 3 will modulate at that time. And then our minimum pumps and valves enabled, we can be able to set those numbers right there. You can go 0 to 10 on that one. Our lag staging, our start as our set point, as we're modulating and as we get closer to set point, our percentage is going to drop. These are the values that we're going to start to put inside here. So about 10% of our set point is when our first lag start is going to come on. As we get up to that 5, it's actually going to drop that first lag boiler off.